Chapter 8 The Toilet Roll Angel. From then on, Holly spent alternate weekends at their house. Jack never knew whether she was going to be kind to Holly or mean Holly. He and Mom were never allowed to watch Holly do her gymnastics. They were barely allowed to ask her how competitions went. When Holly was in a good mood, she'd play video games with Jack and football in the back garden. At other times, especially if she'd lost a competition, she could be really horrible. Once she called him a stupid baby when she saw him cuddling DP. Jack felt ashamed, and after that, he hid DP whenever Holly was coming to stay. Brandon told Jack that Holly was having to work twice as hard to win at competitions because a new girl had moved into their area who's nearly as good as Holly. Jack tried his best not to annoy Holly when she came to spend the weekend, but it was hard to know what would set her off. When Jack had a cold, she shouted at him for sniffing during her favorite TV program. When Brandon told her off, Holly stormed out of the room, slamming the door behind her. Brandon ran after her. After sitting on his own for a bit, Jack decided to go upstairs to his bedroom. He curled up on his bed with DP, who silently agreed that it wasn't Jack's fault he'd sniffed, and that Holly had been horrible. It was nearly Christmas. School broke up. Jack was excited because he had asked for a new bike, and so had his best friend Rory. There was a good paved bit of play park near Rory's house, and he and Jack were planning to race their new bikes there. When Mom took out the box of Christmas decorations that year, she showed Brandon the angel that had always sat on the top of their family tree. Jack had made it when he was in nursery school. The angel's body was a toilet roll. Its wings were made of card with glitter glued on, and it had a beard made of brown wool. Angels don't have beards, said Holly scornfully when she saw Jack's creation on top of the tree. Mom and Brandon were in the kitchen when Holly said this. Why would anyone put an old toilet roll on a Christmas tree? My mom wouldn't put up stuff I'd made when I was a baby. She'd know I'd be embarrassed. Jack suddenly remembered how Dad always used to say, and now for the finishing touch, and lift Jack up so he could put the toilet roll angel on the tree. Last of all. For a moment, Jack wanted his dad to come home so badly it gave him a pain in his chest. This was the last time Jack was going to see Holly before Christmas because Holly's mom was taking her away to visit relatives abroad. Jack was glad. If he couldn't have Dad, at least have Mom, Brandon, Grandpa, and Toby the dog in a good mood. But Holly wouldn't be slamming doors and forcing the grown-ups to try and keep her happy. The day before Christmas Eve, Gran came over to look after Jack because Mom and Brandon were both at work. It had started to snow. Flakes drifted past the window while Jack watched a Christmas movie with DP on his lap. The Christmas tree lights were twinkling in the corner. Toby the dog was asleep on the floor, and Jack felt relaxed and happy. He didn't notice the taxi rolling up outside the house. The doorbell rang. Toby the dog jumped up and started barking. Jack heard Gran open the front door and then her exclamation of surprise. Holly, what are you doing here? Jack looked around in time to see Holly dragging a suitcase into the hall. She looked furious and her cheeks were tear-stained. I thought you'd be on the plane by now, said Gran. I'm not going, said Holly. I want to see Dad. But he's at work, dear, said Gran, bewildered. Where's your mom? Gran peered out into the snowy front garden. but there was nobody there. Holly had come to their house alone. I'm not going with her, shouted Holly, and she stomped toward the stairs, dragging her heavy suitcase with her, and refused to answer any more of Grant's questions. Grant phoned Brandon, who left work early, and then Holly's mom arrived. Her name was Natalia. Jack had never met her before. He went and hid in his bedroom, but he could still hear what everyone was shouting. It seemed Holly had lost a big gymnastics competition, but her mom had told her it was because she kept missing practices, and Holly had gotten very angry and run away from her mom at the airport. I suppose you encouraged this, he heard Natalie shouting at Brandon. Nat- Natalia. Natalia finally left the house, crying. Holly had refused to go with her, insisting that she wanted to spend Christmas with her dad. Jack was now very hungry, but he didn't want to go downstairs until Mom was there. By the time Mom came home, Jack was fast asleep on his bed, DP clutched in his hand.